Okay, Matt here. I'm going to strike while the iron's hot, and I want to keep going here. So we stopped at the third part of the second verse. We saw that in the last days he has spoken to us, God has spoken to us, the author is saying, through his Son, whom he appointed heir of all things, and through whom he made the universe. Okay, so this Son of his made the universe, and verse 3, the Son is the radiance of God's glory and the exact representation of his being. You want to see glory? Look to the Son. You want to see God? Look to the Son. And then the third part of that verse, sustaining all things by his powerful word. Wow. Sustaining all things by his powerful word. Sustaining everything. He holds all things together, Colossians 1:17. Jesus Christ sustains everything. There's a temptation to some people today to think that God, Jesus, whoever they think made the world, just made it and walked away. Kind of like maybe the spinning top, like he spun it around and it's okay. When it stops spinning, the world's over. But that's not how it goes. He sustains all things by the power of his word. See, the sun doesn't rise without Jesus speaking. Rise. The rain doesn't fall without him speaking fall. The wind doesn't blow without Jesus commanding it to do so. You cannot take your next breath without Jesus Christ commanding it by the power of his word. Even if you don't know him, the fact that you're breathing is because Jesus is allowing it. See, this Jesus of the Bible, the real Jesus, he's so much bigger than so many people think. And even us Christians need to get a bigger grasp, a bigger picture of who the real Jesus is, because he's amazing. And part of that is hard to even fathom because our brains are finite and he is infinite. And we can't even fathom it, but we need to grow in our picture of this Jesus, because he is holding all things, sustaining all things by the power of his word. Now check this out. After he had provided purification for sins, which is a big deal, he was the one and only, the last and perfect sacrifice. He provided the purification for sins at his death on the cross and his resurrection and him rising again. He then sat down at the right hand of the majesty in heaven, of God in heaven. He sat down. So here's a picture for you to put in your head. Jesus is in heaven, sitting down, sustaining all things by the power of his word, and it's nothing for him. He doesn't toil, he doesn't stress out about it. It's nothing. He's doing it sitting down. That's how powerful Jesus Christ is. He does it by his word, by the very word, right? We saw tiny pictures of that when he was on earth in the Gospels, when he would come up to a demon-possessed man and he would say, leave this man. Or he would come up to a lame man and he would say, rise, you know. When he called out to Lazarus, Lazarus, come forth, he would just speak and it would happen, right? Well, here he is, sitting at the right hand of the Father, sustaining all things by the power of his word. And that's just a picture, a small picture of this powerful Jesus. He can do anything. Nothing happens without him allowing it or causing it. Verse 4, so he became as much superior to the angels as the name he inherited is superior to theirs. He inherited the name that is above all names. He inherited everything. All things are given to him. He is the heir of all things, one of those things being his name, which is above all other names. There is no name greater than Jesus. And the author brings this up because there was a temptation to worship angels, and we see that in 1 John. The Gnostics were doing it, and they were trying to demote Jesus and elevate angels and to the same height. But the author here makes it clear he became as much superior to the angels as the name he inherited is superior to theirs. Verse 5, for which of the angels did God ever say, you are my son, today I have become your father? Rhetorical question. None of them. Or again, I will be his father, and he will be my son. Again, the answer is 0. And again, when God brings his firstborn into the world, he says, let all God's angels worship him. Okay? Verse 6 here, when he says God brings his firstborn into the world, this term firstborn doesn't mean Jesus was the firstborn, God's firstborn son, as we might be tempted to think, because Jesus always was, right? John chapter 1, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Jesus is the Word, and he was here in the beginning. He laid the foundation of the world, right? So this term firstborn is just a Jewish term, meaning the firstborn in the Jewish culture, of course, inherited what? He got the biggest portion. In this case, Jesus inherits all things, everything. Appointed heir of all things. So that's just driving home the point that he is over everything. Everything has been given to him. It doesn't mean that he was created, because he was always here. Verse 7, and speaking of the angels, he makes his angels winds, his servants flames of fire. That's beautiful. I think we're going to stop there today, because the next passage of Scripture, 8 through 12, is one of the most powerful passages of Scripture in the Bible, in my estimation, and we're going to read that tomorrow. Peace.